And today we're going to talk about chapters 1 to 9 in Sharon Creech's amazing book, Walk Two Moons. You can see here that it has won the Newbery Medal, which means that it is the best of the best books. And I hope that you enjoyed this amazing book by Sharon Creech. And so, yeah, it has 44 chapters. So it's a lot of chapters, but I think that we can get through it. Okay, so now we're gonna start with chapter 1, and that's called A Face at the Window. And you know, the first sentence starts out with Grant. You know, it says Grant says that I'm a country girl at heart, and that's true, right? So, do you think that you're like a country girl / boy, or are you a city girl / boy? I want to imagine myself as a country, but I've lived all my life in the city, so yeah. I mean, not in the city, but in a suburban area. Yeah, exactly. And now, so just from, if you think about it, do you think that, do you think that you would have either wanted to live in Fairbanks, Kentucky, or Euclid, Ohio? But anyway, Margaret, like, just from the first look, did you like Margaret a lot? I mean, she sounded like a good person, but I had a feeling that maybe she was gonna be like, maybe the antagonist of the book sooner on, even though we don't have like any true feelings here, Sal doesn't really say anything big about, like she isn't like, she's like, Margaret was terrible, but I just had a feeling that, maybe from now on, maybe Margaret's gonna be the antagonist. One of the antagonists. Anyway, I'm gonna just read this paragraph and it says this. The reason that Phoebe's story reminds me of that plaster wall and the hidden fireplace is that beneath Phoebe's stories was another one. Mine. Now, so why do you think that Sal's mother left them? Because now we don't have a lot of mention about that in these chapters, but just from the beginning, like, why do you think that she left them? What do you think? Okay. Now, we're already done with chapter 1. But anyway, yeah, I just had another question. Would you like to be locked in a car with your grandparents for 6 days? Like, is that your ideal road trip, or what's your ideal trip anyway? Lots of hiking, lots of camping, stuff like that. I do not like road trips. They are too roady and too in the car. I like to camp and hike. Okay, so before that, there was another girl, right? There was another girl at the window. And there was a girl at the window. And besides, we have to talk about that, right? Because chapter 1 is called A Face in the Window. And if we just completely ignored the face in the window, that we will be totally ignoring the point of the whole thing, right? So, Phoebe here, does Phoebe sound like an interesting character? And just from the beginning, just when we saw her face, would you like to be friends with her? I mean, I'm pretty friendly, so maybe. Okay, so we finished chapter 1 now. Chapter 2 is called The Chickabiddy Starts a Story. Now, so does anybody have a nickname for you? And do you think that your ideal nickname would be Chickabiddy, even if it was just called by your grandparents? No, thank you. Anyway, do you think that, Gran and Gramps, right? Are they the most reliable road trip partners here? And if you have been Sal, then would you have wanted to go on that road trip with them? I like traveling and I can trust their driving skills enough to say yes. But anyway, so there are a few reasons, right, that were not spoken of why they were going on the road trip, One, and why Sal was going on the road trip. It says, 1. Graham and Gramps wanted to see Mama, who was resting peacefully in Lewiston, Idaho. 2. Graham and Gramps knew that I wanted to see Mama, but that I was afraid to. 3. Dad wanted to be alone with the red-headed Margaret cadaver. He had already seen Mama and he had not taken me. So, from here, resting peacefully. Why would Sal be afraid to see her mother resting peacefully? That doesn't it mean that her mother is good? Or is there another definition to resting peacefully? Like maybe when you're dead, just, some people say, let him rest in peace. Even that's what's happening, and that Sal's mother died when she left. But why did she leave in the first place, and how did she die? Those are the mysteries that are clouding our vision right now. And the first 9 chapters, we get the introduction, but that itself, it's not revealed right now. And so we have to keep on reading, get the clues, and see, and try to figure out this mystery. Okay, now, so are you very good at reading maps? That's because, Sal's father said, that Gramps couldn't read a map and that Sal was gonna have to help them, right? Can you read a map? I was the master map person when we visited the zoo. Now, do you think that you would, if you had been Sal, would you have been worried or not? I wouldn't have been that worried. Anyway, do you think that Phoebe Winterbottom, we're gonna sort of learn about her. And, and I'm gonna just read this paragraph that says this. And that is how I happened to suspend my tree prayers and tell them about Phoebe Winterbottom, her disappearing mother, and the lunatic. So, in your opinion, does this sound pretty exciting? Like, what does this remind you of? Like, what can you compare this to? Maybe a trailer, right? Like a movie trailer. You watch and then it's like, some narrator is like, 3 kids go on an amazing, heart-stopping adventure. That just sounds like a beast is talking, but I think that you know what I mean, and like on the screen, like there's 3 kids and they're running from a beast, or I don't know, whatever. Or maybe they're just escaping from a big exploding volcano. I do not know, but whatever the case, someone is like narrating, And if someone had said if this was a trailer for Phoebe Winterbottom's story, it would have been like, someone would have said, this is the story of Phoebe Winterbottom and her disappearing mother, and finally, the lunatic. Hey, that isn't bad. I'm gonna have to pat myself on the back for that one, even though my voice sounds a little too creepy. Okay, chapter 3 is called Bravery. Now, are you brave in your opinion? Because Phoebe says that Sal's really brave, but are you brave? I'm sort of brave, but I'm not like the bravest person in the world. Just from Sal's point of view, how is this house in your opinion? Like, can you imagine it? And would you like to live there? No, but it's only from Sal's point of view. Now, if you have been like the realtor, like the real estate person, then how would you have said this? And I know you don't really know about anything, but just try to imagine, just think this is near a school, this is in a city, this and everything else. What can you do? What would you do? And you don't have to research all about Euclid, Ohio and stuff. I just wanted to ask just for that house. Well, it would be pretty, it wouldn't be hard. I mean, like, it wouldn't be that hard to sell it. I would just be like, this is a really comfortable house that is in the wonderful city of Euclid, Ohio. It is near some good schools. Well, I don't even actually know if they're good or not, but let's just say that they are good schools, and the accommodations are cozy. This is our cozy bedroom, our cozy kitchen, our cozy bathroom. Everything is really cozy. And yeah, I just paused to think, and I think that you will enjoy living here. I mean that's not the best, but again, I have not trained to become a real estate person, so maybe you need proper training anyway, which I am not planning to take anytime soon, until I graduate high school at least. Okay, now, so do you think that now here's our short introduction to the classmates, and in your opinion, are these classmates like the dream classmates that you have, like a dream house, a dream car, and stuff? Like, are they the dream classmates that you would have? And in your opinion, the classmates that you have around now, are they the dream classmates, or are they the annoying kids that you're stuck with? Now, do you think that you are really brave? And what are a few things that you're not afraid of, and a few things that you are terrified of? Yeah, I have one. Roller coasters. 2. Oh, I forgot. Yes. Centipedes. One time I was hiking and a centipede was there. It was terrifying. But anyway, centipedes. 3. The dark. Well, what's your more favorite kind of grandparents? The Pickfords or the Hiddles? Mine is the Hiddles. And do you think that grandmother and grandfather Pickford have to be so respectable all the time? Like, do you think that respectable, like, yeah, being respectable is good, but like that respectable, is that good in your opinion? Like, what's a good kind of respectable? Like, think of a time when you have to be respectable and times when you can just be free, because grandfather and grandmother Pickford, they're just too respectable in my opinion. And so like, you could be like, please, thank you. You could be like, so yeah, that's just respect, right? Kind. And then you can still laugh and joke around and do basketball. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I wouldn't see grandfather Pickford dribbling and being like, hah! If you can imagine that, then please put in the comments and maybe draw a picture of that. So, but Sal's mother is from them, right? But Sal's mother doesn't seem anything like them. In your opinion, like, are you alike your parents / guardian, or are you just like really not alike and you're like, I don't know why we're not related? Okay, now 4. That's what I'm telling you. Have you ever said to somebody, that's what I'm telling you? I think I've said it at times. Now, so Phoebe, right? Phoebe is a pretty good friend and do you think that Phoebe is a good friend in your opinion? Because Sal thinks it's okay, but in your opinion, is Phoebe a good friend? Because always your opinion, it matters a lot, right? Now, also, Mrs. Partridge, she's blind, but she knew how old Phoebe was and just everything, right? Were you surprised about this? Like, how do you think that Mrs. Partridge could do that? The Force? Some mystical power? Maybe she's a mind reader? What do you think? Well, the Force would have been really cool, but the book does not include anything about the Force. Well, I'm gonna have to cope with that. Instead, to soothe my woes about no Force, I'm gonna have to watch small clip of Star Wars after this. Not much, just a small clip. Anyway, do you think that just from your imagination, do you think that, Phoebe's dad sort of does look like 52 if the clown guessed 52? I think so, right? And do people think that you're older or younger than you actually are? Or do people are just like, if you say you're an age, you're like not surprised and they're like, yeah, and it's normal. It's normal for me. It's not, I'm not too tall, I'm not too short, and I'm not too, that's all I have. I'm just regular, normal, middle-sized. And yeah. Okay, now, are you ever like really really protective or defensive about anything. And it doesn't have to be a parent. It can be your brother, any family member, any friend. It can even be your pillow. You know, somebody's like, that pillow isn't the best. And you're like, no, sir, it is the best pillow in the world. And I'll tell you why, like that. What do you think? I am not protective to my pillow here. No offense, pillow, I'm just saying. But I am protective to my, well, it's not like I have a lot of protective things because like nobody really says anything about it. You know, my parents, family members, just, I guess that is all. And also, and also my friend. Now, so why do you think that blackberries have a connection to Sal's mother? Like, do you have any connection? Like, just, it doesn't have to be about your mother or father. It just has to be something that's connected to something else. Let's see. What's one? Come on. Yes, this. The table I'm using is the place where I most likely play with Play-Doh. This reminds me of the long lost memories of me playing with Play-Doh. And I'm pretty sure that if you look in the cupboard, there's still the Play-Doh left over. But I do not have that right now, so I'm not gonna show you. Okay, now do you have like sort of like a power to convince somebody, like Phoebe? Like, or if it isn't that, like what is your power? I'm gonna have to think about that. Anyway, if you happened Phoebe and somebody knew who you were and all that, and she was blind, how would you feel? Like, would you be terrified and shocked, or would you be like, okay, that's okay? I would have been pretty freaked out, and then immediately, I wouldn't have been that freaked out, but I would have been pretty surprised at least. Now, so what do you think? You know, so Phoebe said, well, I think I know, and it's awful, purely awful, right? You know, because Mr. Cadaver, what happened to Mr. Cadaver? What do you think what happened to Mr. Cadaver? I don't know, I just thought of like a crashing car or something, but Phoebe? Whoa, she did some good imagination, you know? I'm not that good at imagining stuff. I mean, I'm okay, but I'm not that good. So I had to be like, I'm impressed, Phoebe. Yeah, about that, I'm impressed. Now, chapter 5, A Damsel in Distress. Have you ever heard that saying before? Now, so we are just going to talk about, you know, Graham and Gramps, right? And how they're so good at getting into trouble. What are you really good at getting into, like, trouble? Like, what's something that you're really good at? I'm really good at making people angry. Well, not that, but at times making them seriously annoyed. So, we are now going to go to Gramps, right? Do you think that Gramps actually made the, you know, situation worse for the damsel in distress or not? What do you think? Anyway, do you think that, you know, Gramps was trying to do the right thing, but in the end, do you think that he succeeded? I mean, no offense, but he could have done better at least. But I mean, he didn't do bad. I'm just saying, maybe he could have done better. Now 6 is called Blackberry. So now, what is that the diabolic thing? What do you think happened to Mr. Cadaver that was so purely awful? Anyway, before that, we are going to talk about Phoebe's family. You know, Phoebe's family, they're all respectable and they're like, please, thank you. Or it's sort of like, would you please pass the potatoes, Phoebe? Like, you know, it's sometimes quiet except for that. Like, how are your dinners like? And do you like how your dinners are like? Me? No passing the potatoes. I mean, we don't really have that, like, we just gather all the food on our place before, and like if there's something else, like it's in the middle, and we don't have a lot of people, just me, and you know my parents, and so our table's pretty small, and so we can all grab, we all, and sort of like this, so it's all the same distance away, if there's anything, so no passing the potatoes, and it's usually pretty loud, talking and talking and talking. Like, we never do, please pass the potatoes. Now, do you like their kind of dinner? Too respectable and too quiet. I like talk. Okay, now, do you think that Mrs. Winterbottom is actually really unsatisfied about her life as just, boring, sort of boring? And do you think that your life is boring? And are you ever unsatisfied with your life? I'm not like that unsatisfied, but at times, well, yeah, I'm actually really satisfied with my life because, my life is pretty good. I do recordings about these amazing books. I do violin, I write, and I just have a lot of fun. So I think that my life is amazing and awesome. Yeah, so I like it. So, do you think that the rest of the family sort of is not really appreciating everything that Mrs. Winterbottom is doing for them? And, so they sort of ignore everything that she says. Like, what do so when she said, something about the Mazzulli, and how she couldn't find the brand, but, excuse me. When she was talking about the Mazzulli, and she said that she couldn't find that exact brand, but something similar to George, right, her husband, right? He doesn't even acknowledge it. He's like, he just keeps on eating in silence. What do you think that he should have done? He should have said, "Thank you, Norma." Just thank you, Norma. Even though that just sounds too strict. They should have talked from the beginning, but unfortunately, that is not the way. Okay. So, now, next thing I wanted to talk about was Mr. Winterbottom. Mr. Winterbottom, he's sort of respectable and all that. Do you like this about Mr. Winterbottom? And all in all, do you think that Phoebe's family is a good family to live in? It's okay, but I like to, other places too. Now, so we're not going to talk about one of Sal's memories. And so why do you think that this memory was sort of important? And we're not going to go into the really, well, actually we are. And here, his dad, Sal's dad leaves something right there. But anyway, have you ever given like a gift to somebody else? And it doesn't have to be like the birthday or Christmas, something else. So anyway, so she was just eating a blackberry pie, and that was the memory that she remembered, right? Have you ever, so this is sort of like the question before, like, is something like, I don't know, this thing, like, have any memories? Now, how do you pronounce Illinois? Well, I just pronounce it Illinois, but he pronounces it Illinois. Now, do you? Illinois. I mean, it's not bad, but I pronounce it Illinois. Illinois, Illinois. But anyway, do you think that Illinois is a really... Illinois. I just forgot which was the right one. But anyway, now, do you think that Sal should begin to hurry and rush? Or do you think that she should just enjoy? I think that she should just enjoy, like, yeah, I mean, the birthday might be important, but still, just going there, maybe it's not going to make any difference. I don't know, but it's sort of symbolic to Salamanca. Sal, and she needs to go there. So, but she still doesn't really need to rush. I'm pretty sure she could get there in time. So, do you think, we begin to see that they begin to follow along Mom's footsteps, right? So why do you think that they're doing this? Why do you think it's so important to Sal? And do you think that when she meets her mother, like, do you think that she's gonna be able to be mentally stable, or do you think that she's just gonna break down? What do you think? And now we're gonna go to chapter 8, which is called The Lunatic. What do you know about lunatics? What do you imagine? For some reason, I imagine somebody shaking a tree. I know it sounds really like a lunatic. I mean, this doesn't really sound like a lunatic. We're like shaking a tree. I mean, sort of like a lunatic, but yeah, I got it from, yeah. I don't know why I got that, but it must have come from an origin. I have to think about people shaking stuff. Now, so, do you think that, we're gonna go back into the story of Phoebe and the lunatic. So there was this strange man here. Who is this strange man, and why does he want to see Mrs. Winterbottom? In your guess, what is it? And he's just sort of really nervous and embarrassed. So what was your first guess? Like, maybe, I don't know. I actually really had no idea. I just kept on reading. But do you think that he really actually has like a gun or a knife hidden and he's a lunatic or not? Phoebe's getting a little too carried away here. But anyway, do you think that Phoebe's imagination is making like everything, just making her really paranoid and that's bad? Or do you think that it's pretty funny and, it's not that bad? What do you think? Well, it's not bad, but at times she just gets a little too carried away. Yeah, I think that you know what I mean. Are you like really strong at some kind of thing? I don't know, imagination. It can even be basketball. And are you carried away with that? Well, I was carried away, I was the top basketball catcher. Like, I just threw it up and caught it, like, right before my face. But I got carried away, of course. And one day, I was like, and I was thinking about something else. And I was like, I don't know why, but I didn't get it. I was like, no. But before that, I know you can guess what the basketball did. It crashed into my face. At first it hurt so much, it was all numb. And then the pain began to come, and it just wasn't a very pretty sight, let me tell you that. Now, Phoebe said that the Finney's house wasn't that civilized. Now, here, so the Finney house, what do you think about the Finney house? Like, do you think it's uncivilized? And do you like the Winterbottom house better, or the Phoebe's house, or the Finney's house? I actually like the Finney's house better because it's actually really fun and people are talking and laughing and they're actually having fun. It's not like just so respectable. Not like that. It's really carefree and it's good, right? That's actually just in my opinion. What's your opinion here? And do you think that Phoebe maybe is saying all these things because she's just jealous? Or do you think that she really thinks that? I think that she's a little jealous at times, maybe. And do you think that Ben actually kissed, kissed Sal's collarbone? Or do you think it was just a mistake? I at first thought it was a mistake, but we're going to keep on going through the book. We're going to see if it was a mistake or not. And it might be, I just don't remember. It was a long time since I've read this thing. This amazing book, yeah, it's been a long time. Now, what do you think that don't judge a man until you've walked 2 moons in his moccasins? Like, what do you think it means? I begin to think, don't judge a man don't judge somebody before you've actually walked in their shoes. And so, why do you think that Sharon Creech added that in her books? It must be something. And do you think that it's actually from the lunatic? And if it was, why did the lunatic send that strange message? Why, don't judge a man until you've walked 2 moons in his moccasins. What do you think? That's such an odd thing to say. Anyway, Phoebe's mother doesn't want to mention this to Phoebe's father. That's odd. And there's also these odd things are going on, the lunatic, these letters, and Phoebe's mom not telling this. These are all 3 really odd, right? And just out of place. So, What do you think is happening here? Lots of mysteries. Why didn't that Phoebe's mother does not want to tell Phoebe's father about this? Who do you think that the letters are coming from, and why? And finally, do you think that the lunatic is a lunatic, and who do you think that he really is? And do you think that he has a connection with Mrs. Winterbottom? We're gonna have to see about that. I hope that you enjoyed chapters 1 to 9 with me. Yeah, this is just an amazing book. And I'm gonna just ask you a few last questions. So, what was your favorite part so far in the book, which is Trippy chapters 1 to 9? Then also, another question is about the favorite character and least favorite character. Now, I think that you already know what I'm gonna ask. What's your favorite and least favorite character? Well, favorite should be Sal. Least favorite? Now, Phoebe is getting onto my brain, so now I'm thinking Mrs. Cadaver. Yeah. Phoebe's also hypnotizing. Well, not hypnotizing, but really getting onto my brain. She has a power. Now, how did you like the book? I think that you know how I liked it. I said favorite, amazing, awesome. So I really like this book. What about you? I hope that you really enjoyed the book. Now, prediction question. So do you think that Sal's gonna get to her mother by her birthday? Do you think that Sal is actually going to survive? Well, might be a few problems that she might face. And do you think that they're gonna meet the lunatic again? Do you think that they're gonna find out where the letters came from? And finally, one last question is, do you think that Sal is going to go back to Bybanks, Kentucky or not? I think that she might do that. I'm not very sure, but maybe so. Or maybe she might get settled, but I think that maybe she's gonna go there. And if you have any prediction questions that you thought of, then ask them yourselves or to other people who have read the book. Well, not the whole book, but some of the book. Again, I hope that you really enjoy Walk to Moons chapters 1 to 9 with me. I'm going to say it's just an amazing book, and keep on reading. I have a lot of books here. They just make me really happy, and I hope that books also make you really happy, okay? So yeah, without anything really much to say anymore, and yeah, we just completed the first 9 chapters of Walk to Moons. Hooray! Bye! And I know that you're gonna love the rest of this book.